Welcome back, my name is LastKnownMeal and today we're gonna be talking about Cyberpunk 2077. To be more precise, I want to talk about the recent interview done by the Spanish news outlet with the Cyberpunk Quest director Mateusz Tomaszkiewicz. One particular part of the interview got everyone curious about the upcoming presentation E3 2019, where he said that Cyberpunk 2077 is quite different now compared to the gameplay shown last year. He also stated that there are many things that they haven't revealed about the game yet, and that the team is still working on them. The game is quite different from the gameplay shown last year, but it could change further as development continues. He also touched on what we saw last year, and it was basically just a small fragment of the game. They still didn't show the world itself and how big it actually is, nor the broader aspect of the story. Keep in mind, the gameplay we saw only showed one quest, Ripper Doctor, a bit of a night city with driving and some of the hacking, even though the entire part of netrunning will be shown this year, I believe, because those parts of the game were still not ready. There are also many other parts of the night city and the entire area around it that we are going to see, but what does quite different mean? First of all, it doesn't mean that the game is going to change drastically. You are not going to see a new game that is completely different than before. The premise and the core idea is still there, but all the other gameplay elements, both minor and major, are open to changes and polishing. CDPR used the feedback they got from the reveal at E3 and the gameplay itself to optimize and polish the game experience. That means that besides other things we still didn't see, I expect major changes in combat, since for a lot of people, that part of the gameplay was kinda stiff, but at the same time what we saw was pre-alpha footage, and all of those elements are fine-tuned and optimized for the final game. Keep in mind, every single game, especially made by CDPR, they want to make it as perfect as they can. And sometimes you will have a game element that will seem okay, but once you show it to the public, people will say, maybe this could be a bit different, what if you do this, what if you do that? So a developer is going to take that feedback into consideration, and they are going to change some things. And that is what Tomasz actually meant by the game is going to be different. It doesn't mean that the graphics and the color palette and everything is going to change. The core idea of the game, as I said, will stay exactly the same. There were even some discussions that CDPR might downgrade the graphics of Cyberpunk. They did that before with The Witcher 3, but at the same time, I really don't believe that's going to be the case this time. I'm certain that they learned from their previous development and that the things we saw will stay the same. Obviously, PC version will have more options like it is with every single game released on consoles and PC, but it doesn't mean that they will have to change everything drastically just to run it on the current generation of consoles. Keep in mind that Cyberpunk is very advanced, meaning that the technology behind it, and with the release of next generation of consoles, we are going to see the updated version of the game, like it happened with The Last of Us and various other titles that came out first on PlayStation 3 and then they were remastered for PlayStation 4. But yeah, I also want to see how different this actually is. The whole progression of the game from the previous E3 until this one is what I always look forward to. And I'm certain that CDPR is doing everything to optimize the experience so that we have the least amounts of bugs at release. And for a game this size, you will have bugs, you will have glitches, but for as long as they're not game-breaking bugs and glitches, I'm okay with it, because when you have a sandbox, when you have an open world RPG, those things tend to happen. It's impossible to fix them until you don't have a huge amount of people playing it and just providing you with feedback, okay, this is bad, fix this, fix this, fix this. So expect bugs, but at the same time, hopefully, the release of the game is going to go smoothly. Now all we can do now is wait for the presentation that is happening in like, what, 44 days? So if you want to stay updated with the latest Cyberpunk info, smash that like and subscribe button and tell me down below what you think about this, and follow me up on Twitter and Discord for more amazing community discussions. We also have a Cyberpunk podcast every Sunday with Mad Queen, Neon Arcade and Triple S League, so keep a lookout for that, and remember, Cyberpunk is a community, not one channel. Stay classy everyone, and bye bye.